Happy Friday, America. Oh, man, tonight is a special night. It's Feminine Friday, where all the panelists are women. Tonight we have Kennedy. Yeah! David McDowell. Kat Tim. And Janine Garofalo. All right. A long way for a mean joke. Okay, I hope you had a good week. I did, and no thanks to Howard Stern. True, the New York Post reported that Stern hit a chic restaurant in NYC with a crew of A-listers, including Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Aniston, Jon Hamm, Justin Theroux, Jason Bateman. I was not invited. I guess because my first name doesn't begin with the letter J. Did you notice that? But it's okay. I had other things to do that evening.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again.
But imagine the conversation with that crew. So how's your health? 6 vaxes, 2 boosters, and an echinacea enema. And I only got COVID 4 times. Oh, yeah, I did a triple vax and an IV booster trip, plus I gave Dr. Fauci a reach around. He was like, come on, Jimmy, don't worry about your sofa. I'm not a super spreader. But the dinner isn't the story. It's what Howard said later on his radio show. Quote, I really had an exhausting weekend. Emotionally, physically. For the first time in 2 years, I ventured out of the house. Now, maybe he's exaggerating. We all do that. In fact, the more successful you get in media, the more exhausting the easiest things become. This is true. I guess that explains Kilmeade's boundless energy. It's true. Stuff I did 20 years ago, like hailing a cab or buying my own lunch or shaving my back, I have other people do that now. So again, a big thanks to Trevor Noah for helping me with the little day-to-day stuff. Well, hey, is he your best friend? Is he calling you up and saying hello? No. But that's how Stern can call snacking with celebs at a fancy restaurant exhausting. Exhausting. Like he finished the overnight shift in a coal mine or hearing Kat talk about her pets.
Fair.
But I get it, life is tough, especially when you've been cut off from the world for 2 years in a $20 million beach house. I mean, you have no idea how tiring it is walking all the way from the wine cellar to the tennis court and back. Do I sound jealous? Yes. Because who wouldn't be? But don't get me wrong, I'm doing just fine. He may have his own private beach, but I got soap on a rope. Comes in handy when you got company. And like Howard, for a spell, I retreated to a cabin in the woods during the lockdowns. Not for long, but I did have to feed those teens in the root cellar. They grow up so fast. Right through the ropes. But Stern being holed up in his house that long, it explains a lot of things, like how you forget how other people live, especially in hard times like a pandemic. For the longest time, 2 years in fact, the same time Stern's been AWOL, I wondered where he went. Not physically, but mentally. I bet you did too. Remember his screeds about COVID? They were epic and angry, and not to mention wrong.
When are we going to stop putting up with the idiots in this country and just say, it's mandatory to get vaccinated? F*** them, f*** their freedom. I want my freedom to live.
Man, this guy makes Anthony Fauci sound like a Canadian trucker. But, maybe you should follow his next vaccine with a shot of Valium. But it's weird. He went from ridiculing the man to becoming him. No longer embracing rebellion, he French kisses regulation. He went from mocking a radio executive who was a rigid by-the-book a-hole that he named Pig Vomit to being Pig Vomit himself. He went from Howard Stern to Howard Hughes and lost a connection to humanity. He went from hanging out with this to hanging out with this. It's hard to say who's had more plastic surgery. So Howard went from getting people to fart songs out of their butt to commiserating with the super wealthy about the evils of Trump, who was a guest on Howard's show many times. But I get it now. He's got new friends and they bring new views. It's celebrity peer pressure. But the fact that he hasn't left his house in 2 years means that his views are BS. He was in a happy self-imposed lockdown with everything. Mansion on the beach, limitless options for food and entertainment. That's not real life. That's a 2-year all-inclusive vacation at Sandals Royal Barbados, which is impossible for everyone else in lockdown, including, especially, his listeners. Hell, he was doing his show from home. I'm sure you could work from home, too. Well, unless you're a truck driver or a plumber or an electrician. You know, the people who listen to Stern on their way to work. Those are the folks who make 2-year seclusions possible. It's a point I made early on about the media who tell you how to live because they don't feel the burdens of their own suggestions. Lecturing people on the science as we are sitting in our isolated boxes isn't really correct. I mean, what message are we sending by being separate right now? I think it's time to return to the studio.
There we go.
And start seeing each other. God, he's gorgeous. I could sleep with him every night. And I do. Alone. Fact is, Stern had no skin in the game because he left the game entirely. He didn't feel the loneliness, the social suffocation, the alienation, not to mention flying across the country with a cheap diaper on your face. Those elastic waistbands make my face itch. To be honest, though, that's a good strategy on Stern's part. In a pandemic, keep the filthy peasants away from your castle. But not everyone can do it. In fact, nobody can do it except for the king. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He's the kind of guy who puts razor blades in his own Halloween candy. WesternRazor.com owner David Angelo. Disparage the South and she'll smack you in the mouth. Fox business anchor Dagan McDowell. She's one Kennedy who won't leave you dead in the water. Host of Kennedy on Fox Business, Kennedy. And like your favorite book from the library, she's already checked out. Fox News contributor, Kat Tim. So, David, you're a successful humorist, the proof being that you had to start a razor business. It's the thing I do when I reach success. Start a business out of my garage.
Yeah, that's correct, Greg. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, it's so fulfilling to be in the consumer goods space now. And, you know, to manufacture in America, WesternRazor.com. It's very nice too.
Yes. And the thing,
I already dominated comedy. Let's do it with the health and beauty products.
there you go. And you know what? You're actually making something for once that people want, and I think that's important.
Thank you.
I always hate that argument, like, what happened to the old Stern, or what people have changed. That's not what this is about. It's a weird disconnect.
Well,
What?
he hasn't changed.
No.
People have been calling him insane for 40 years.
Yeah, that's
It just used to be, this guy's nuts. And now they're like, oh, we're worried about Howard. He needs help. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you, though, I'm a little sympathetic because what you said is correct, but I'm also a germaphobe.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just have a smaller apartment.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to go out.
You're basically a recluse, but not by choice.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
can't afford it. But you know what? Like, how can you live in New York and not be disgusted all the time? It's like you see a guy like wiping his butt on the subway, and I'm supposed to be considered neurotic for
Yeah.
not wanting to touch anything.
Well, to be fair, Jesse Waters doesn't have a private bathroom. You're right. You're right. I mean, I'm disgusted. I think I'm disgusted 80% of the time that I'm in New York City. So maybe you've changed my mind, but I think you're still wrong.
Important.
I will say this, Dagan. I thank God for Howard Stern because he does make me feel normal by comparison. Because I'm like the fox recluse. I don't do anything. I don't go anywhere. But he makes me look like, Pete Davidson on a...
Yeah, he's a germaphobe. Like, his wife rescues cats. That's her job, apparently, her thing. But you can get toxoplasmosis.
That's
and
true.
Cryptosporidiosis.
AIDS.
And
No, you can't,
no,
but...
you can't get.
No, you can't.
But you can get
I mean, what are the chances I get that again?
like a lot of diarrhea related, like giardia and ringworm. You can get from
Giardia?
cats. Yeah, I don't know
That is
why
such
I know
a
that.
great name for a lead singer.
I got it from stream water once. It was atrocious. But
Stream water. That's what they called it?
that,
Just when a guy's standing over you in a club, that is not stream water.
honey, that pays really well. Don't knock it until you've tried it.
yeah.
But there are,
I
don't,
made my rent that night, Greg.
I don't know how you're a germaphobe and live in New York City. There are people like Stern who have barely left their apartments except to smoke on the street for the last 2.5 years. And you can see them because when you're walking toward them, they always do this.
Yeah.
And they look at you like you're some sort of giant walking contagious tumor. So here's how you ensure that they stay in their apartment forever. You cough, sneeze, you do a nose pick, or you do the 1-2 punch, which is this and this, and you come out of it.
You won't be seeing that on Special Report. Kennedy, you look marvelous.
Thank you, Greg.
They have a sale at Spencer's Gifts. I kid. I only say that because it's true.
He can't help it.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
When life is so good, you become more and more terrified of losing it. I think it's about a profound fear of death, which increases with his wealth and prestige. It's like he doesn't think it's ever going to get any better than being here.
Yes, but to your point, Howard has always been this way. Like, he's always been, he made his career on neurosis.
Yes.
You know, he's been very honest about going to analysis, not just therapy, like 5-day-a-week analysis. He's always been, unhinged and nuts and obsessed with butts.
Yes.
And
Who is like that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know, Greg. That's so weird that it takes one to know one and you take your entire monologue on Howard Stern. But he has.
I'm just
been-
fascinated with the digestive system.
Is that what you call it?
Yes.
It's just the very end of the system.
That's where all the action is.
That's why I'm sitting down. And thank you for that. I have to say that I got into broadcasting because of Howard. I was an intern at a radio station when he came on the air in Los Angeles in 1991, and they would simulcast starting at 3 in the morning, which was 6 in the morning here in New York, and I would stay up until 6 in the morning to listen to the first 3 hours of his show, because before that, everything was a Z Morning Zoo.
Right.
And so I was like, this is what broadcasters are capable of. And he inspired me so deeply, I wanted to get on the air. I wanted to get into radio. And he had me on his show very early on at MTV, and he humiliated me, and it was one of the greatest days of my life.
Oh, wow.
So I love him. I'll always have a soft spot.
Kat, basically it's about if you work from home in a really nice place, you should probably not be lecturing how other people should spend their pandemic. Isn't that kind of it?
Yes. Good thing you took 7 minutes to say that.
Wow.
No, I think it is. I think that's true. I also think it's still kind of sad though.
Yes.
Because he's just there, and he basically kidnapped himself.
Right.
He did. People were saying if they want to go see him, like Jimmy Kimmel said, I'd take 2 tests, his
That's
wife,
right.
to be able to come inside because there's no distancing capable in that giant compound.
Yeah.
I think it's really sad, and I guess that's what I thought until I found out it was full of cats.
Okay, but we're bearing the lead.
What?
Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux were at the same dinner. Are they back together?
No, I hope not. I don't care.
Am I the only one who believes in love?
Oh, we'll get to that in the D block.
Yeah.
All right, quickly before we go, I'll be in Sugarland, and that ain't no euphemism. Sugarland, Texas on November 19th with special guest Tom Shalhoub and somebody else.
Hey.
Cat tip. Go to Gutfeld.com for tickets.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.